Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson, and today I want to explore the idea that Elsa's powers may include seeing the future. Trust me, I've been thinking about this one for a while because to me it just seems like the full breadth of Elsa's powers have only just begun to be unlocked. Truly, ever since Frozen 2, when we discovered that water has memories, the way I, and I'm sure many of you saw Elsa's magic completely changed. And that was something that I was really kind of excited by. Not at first, but eventually. The full extent of her mystical magic suddenly shifted from being a force that could freeze the world, which I was really excited by, to one that could recapture events, people, and stories from throughout time.
What are these?
They look like moments in time.
On her journey in the Enchanted Forest, Elsa was finally able to see that she could use the memories within water to learn about her parents' origins, discover the king and queen's fate, and unearth the truth that her grandfather had been the cause of the conflict between Arendelle and the Northuldra. As she went deeper into exploring where she came from, the truth was revealed to her that she wasn't created to be a destructive force. Her magic derived from the river of memories, Ahtohallan.
A river found but lost. Magic source. Elsa's source?
There was a time where I kind of believed that her magic might have come from the moon, since Rapunzel's magic came from the sun, but between this explanation about Elsa's powers and Tangle's explanation about what the moon's powers truly were, these ideas kind of separated. While it would have been pretty exciting to have two princesses being connected through similar types of magic, it did open the door for some really interesting ideas, especially in Frozen 2. In Queen Iduna's lullaby specifically, that focuses on Ahtohallan and its magic, there are moments where it seems the river full of memory can see beyond the present. Iduna says in the river all is found, and in her waters deep and true lie the answers and a path for you. Ahtohallan seems to have every deep answer within it and is capable of showing Elsa her destiny, so if both of those ideas are true, then this river must be able to provide answers to not only the past, but the future as well. Instead of memories just referring to remembering the past, I think the memories in Ahtohallan are truly the summation of every moment that will ever exist. And this would also explain how the spirits of the Enchanted Forest were able to choose Agnar and Iduna's daughter to become the fifth spirit in the first place. It sure seems like they should have had some way of knowing definitively that their selection wasn't going to do something like, I don't know, summon an army of snowmen like in some of the early drafts of Frozen.
Never underestimate the power of snow.
Bestowing that type of magic to someone must require some kind of certainty that it won't be abused. And if the entities that chose Elsa were able to see the future, they could have known that granting the powers of Ahtohallan to her would have been the key to restoring order in the Enchanted Forest. I think either they were able to see that the king and queen of Arendelle would have a daughter who would be capable of bringing peace to the Enchanted Forest, or maybe they were able to call upon the moment where the Enchanted Forest was freed, and then they saw that they must choose Elsa to create that future. The way I see it is they either looked at all of the people in existence and saw what their futures might bring, or they went and saw who they needed to choose to save their world. But in either case, I think the nature spirits looked into the future and saw that the daughter of an Arendellian prince and a Northuldra orphan would one day be their savior. And it turns out that happened hundreds of years ago. You see, water seems to not just hold the memories of the past, but also the moments that will come in the future. And this isn't just supported in Frozen. As I explained in a previous video about how I believe Moana's people knew Elsa was the fifth spirit, which is a great video I believe linked down below, there were a lot of interesting things going on in Motunui surrounding water and seeing the future. Like, we know that Moana was able to glimpse into the past to see the story of her people, but there were times when they saw the future as well. Between Grandmother Tala knowing what creature she would become when she died and Moana's people being able to depict a flying carpet, the video game character Wreck-It Ralph, and Elsa's very own Marshmallow on their tapa-cloths, it seemed like they were capable of seeing beyond their time in addition to peering into the past. Not only was Moana able to witness the history of her people before her eyes, but at some point someone in her village was able to see the monster of snow and ice who would be created by Elsa. Hundreds of years before Elsa was born, I think water was showing an island of people who were deeply connected to the ocean a depiction of the living snow creature created by the fifth spirit, meaning that the spirits of the Enchanted Forest chose Elsa to have ice magic and to take on that role in the world generations before she was born. And again, the only way that would be possible is if Ahtohallan was able to look into the future. And in fact, we actually saw Elsa unlocking this ability in Frozen 2 when she was a young girl. When Elsa and Anna played with little ice figures before they were told about the Enchanted Forest for the first time, we actually see that some of Elsa's creations formed individuals who wouldn't exist for hundreds of years into the future. Sure, the iconic Snow White might have existed around the time of Frozen, but the flying elephant Dumbo, the canine Hollywood star Bolt, and the healthcare companion Baymax definitely weren't around then. Whether Elsa realized it or not, she seems to have been manifesting individuals who would one day exist and have significant stories of their own, showing that Elsa could indeed look into the future. Now, I don't think Elsa is some kind of omniscient god or anything. I don't think she's an entity completely removed from time. Honestly, I think it would be way too straining on any person's existence to see everything that ever happened or will happen, but forming events from any point throughout time definitely seems reasonable. In my mind, in a similar way to how she can only learn about the past by creating forms from a specific event, I believe that functions the same way when looking to the future. But where might this magic take her? Will she act like Doc from Back to the Future and attempt to stop the mistakes of Anna and Kristoff's children? Will she feel crushed by the devastating travesties that occurred throughout time, like the fall of Atlantis? What would it be like to know you have the power to discover the fate of humanity? I know Wally might not for sure exist in Elsa's world, but her world could still go in that kind of direction. That's a big burden to bear. And that was a lot of alliteration. With the ability to put a kingdom into an eternal winter, summon snow entities to life, and look throughout time, it seems like her role in the world has to be grander than just undoing the destruction caused by her grandfather. To me, Elsa has the potential to shape the world in a massive way, especially since she has the ability to know what must be done for the good of everyone. I can definitely see how she might feel a responsibility to attempt to create change, since she could learn the outcomes of every event that takes place. But at the same time, if she knows that nothing she learns about the future can be changed, perhaps she won't spend much of her life looking forward like she did when she grew up in fear of her powers. Maybe, regardless of her abilities, Elsa might just want to exist in the present. But what do you think? Do you believe Elsa can see the future? Also, fun people, make sure to subscribe for more magical discussions, and thank you to all the fun people who help make my videos possible. If you'd like to help keep my Disney discussions free for everyone forever, consider joining my community on Patreon, and finally, have a magical day.